Welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Eiderstein. Thank y'all for joining me again tonight as we do tonight's daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. This, of course, will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning that you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading, as this will be the first time that I hear it or read it right here on this podcast with y'all. I'm looking forward to it. The last couple days have been about brotherhood, and I wonder if it's going to continue it. There's been a lot said about it, so I wouldn't be surprised if they switched up. But it's been a great start to December, let me tell you. Um, a lot of great information, a lot of good reminders already, and a lot of perspective that brotherhood is selfless and must be chosen. It can't be forced or manufactured. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at today's reading. So here we go. This is December 6th of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Prejudice and cruelty are inseparable. Sympathy is not required toward those who are purer and more enlightened than oneself, as the purer one lives above the necessity for it. In such a case, reverence should be exercised, with a striving to lift oneself up to the purer level, and so enter possession of the larger life. Nor can a man fully understand one who is wiser than himself, and before condemning, he should earnestly ask himself whether he is, after all, better than the man whom he has singled out as the object of his bitterness. If he is, let him bestow sympathy. If he is not, let him exercise reverence. When a man is prone to harshly judge and condemn others, he should inquire how far he falls short himself. That is a great reading. That is a humbling reading, because I think we all, well, I won't speak for everyone. I know I've been through this myself in a lot of ways. I tend to very much dislike people that I need to learn something from. And I'm talking about people that we've talked about this aspect a lot, the people that get under my skin and they annoy me and they have a character defect. There's something to be learned from them. But there's the other kind of person I need to learn from, which is who we're more appropriately talking about today, which is the person that within me I know is on a higher spiritual plane than I am. But I want to hate him for it, and I want to belittle him, and I want to minimize those characteristics to shield myself from feeling less than. So this is a good one for me. So let's go through this again. Prejudice and cruelty are inseparable. Prejudice. Let's look that up just so we have the full meaning. Pretty hot button word today. An opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. So yeah, the things that we just assume about people, that we've been told about people, that our family has taught us about other people. Could be a characteristic, a physical characteristic, a mental characteristic, a behavior. Could be a location they're from, things like that. All these things can be prejudices. So we judge without actually knowing, and then we're cruel because we've judged ourselves better than. Sounds like my story in many ways. So prejudice and cruelty are inseparable. I'll agree with that. I that is true because prejudice is a very negative, very harsh word, and it's associated with being mean. It's associated with being unreasonable. So it's something to really understand that prejudice and cruelty are inseparable. I agree with that statement about exploring it a little bit. Yeah, I believe that statement wholeheartedly, actually. Sympathy is not required toward those who are purer and more enlightened than oneself. This is funny. Sympathy is not required toward those who are purer and more enlightened than oneself, as the pure one lives above the necessity for it. Those more enlightened and understanding do not need my sympathy. Oh, poor them. They're more free than me. How terrible for 'em. Like, how arrogant is that? Don't get me wrong. I am that guy. I am that person that will do that. I'm that guy just to make myself feel better about me because I don't like admitting to not knowing stuff. So let's just make sure I'm clear on that. But the people that do have this extra, I won't even call it extra. That's my own judgment getting in there again. These individuals that have reached a further depth and a more robust understanding of spiritual laws and living and had more practice than I and are further along the path, they don't need my sympathy. They do not need my sympathy. I like to try to find a reason why they do so I can level the playing field a little bit, but that's not healthy. That's not honest and that's not in any way humble. So that is definitely something I have to work on. And even if you gave your sympathy to the one more enlightened one, as it says, it's useless. They don't even acknowledge it nor need it. It's crazy the arrogance that a person like me can have. And it tells us what to do instead. In such a case, reverence should be exercised. Let's take a look at reverence real quick, guys. So, reverence, just to make sure. Deep respect for someone or something. So, in such a case, reverence should be exercised, a deep and profound respect, with a striving to lift oneself up to that pure level and to enter possession, and so enter possession of the larger life. Nor can excuse me, that was a period there. So we shouldn't have sympathy for them. They don't need it. We should have reverence, respect. Respect should be exercised. And then to begin our own striving to be on that level too. When we can see it and experience it, we know it's possible for us to get there. So that should be our aim to ascend to that level of of spiritual living, to that level of understanding. Do not condemn, aspire. Wonder if you just a random thought. I'd wonder if you can condemn and aspire at the same time. One is from fear and selfishness. And aspiration is from love and service. So I do not think those two can be practiced at the same time. I'll have to think about that more. Now, he goes on here to say, nor can a man fully understand one who is wiser than himself, but before condemning it, we talk about I forgot what you said condemning here. But before condemning it, he should earnestly ask himself whether he is, after all, better than the man who he has singled out as an object of bitterness. Nor can a man fully understand one who is wiser than himself. I think that's probably why I condemn, right? That's probably why this word is put in this sentence as well, because I will condemn what I don't understand. And because when I don't understand something, I just think people aren't smart enough to put it in terms that I can comprehend, which is kind of backwards logic. But I think they're too stupid to articulate what they need to say. But the reality of it is, it's that I just don't get what they're communicating. I can't comprehend it. I don't know how to understand it. So instead of admit my own ignorance, I'll condemn. That's my defense mechanism, condemnation. Judgment and condemnation. It's unfortunate, but true. I stay away from it a lot these days, to be fair. I'm much more open minded, much more willing to listen and understand. But I have my days. I really do. I have my days where I don't want to put the necessary effort in to understand. So I will condemn. And that is not the right thing to do. Please do not say, do not come away from this podcast today thinking that I said it was okay to do that. No, I am working on it. I am doing it less and less and less when I get the opportunity to choose to do differently. I do. But it is very difficult. My ego is insidious and it likes to think it's important. So, if you have this problem, you're not alone. So, we have to ask ourselves before condemning. We don't understand the wiser, but we can tell that they're wiser. So, before we condemn this person, we should ask ourselves. We should ask ourselves whether that whether that we are better than that individual truly. And it gives us the correct action. So if we find somebody that we don't quite understand, before we condemn them, ask ourselves a question. Do we really believe we are better than the man we have singled out? If if we say yes, if I say yes, let me bestow sympathy. Let me be compassionate and loving, understanding, not condemning. But if he is not, but if they are smarter than me, or they more are, I don't know if the term even makes sense, but in this case, more enlightened, more aware, more spiritually matured than me, exercise reverence. Those are our two options: be sympathetic or practice reverence. That's what we do. That's it. No in between. Sympathy or reverence for that person we would wish to condemn. Only two choices, but neither of them serve my ego, so I don't like them. All right, now this last line here. When a man is prone to harshly judge and condemn others, he should inquire how far he falls short himself. This is the thing. I know this because this was my personal experience. I was a very judgmental, condemning waste of a man. And the more condemning, the more harsh, the more judgmental I grew, the less and less and less I thought of myself. I hated myself. I was a self-loathing individual and just kept getting deeper and deeper. So, as I judged others more, as that eye of judgment stretched out further and further and included more and more things, at the end of the day, all that was left was for me to look at myself. I judged and condemned myself worse than anyone else did. So, before I start putting that set of glasses on, those judgment glasses, Let me take a look at myself. Let me see how imperfect I am, how much I fall short, how much improvement and action I still need to take before I throw those stones. What was the saying? He who was without sin can cast should cast the first stone. No one could cast it. Keep in mind, you are not perfect either. We strive for perfection here, spiritual perfection. We're all in process. So, all right. Well, thank y'all for joining me again tonight. I loved this reading. This is a great reading. Glad that it is starting off so well for December. And I hope y'all are enjoying it too. So, I'll be back again tomorrow. Until next time, thanks.